At 02:15 a.m. on the Dnipro River, a Russian staff officer is having the time of his life. He and his comrades genuinely believe their 5-mile-long convoy, a metal snake of over 300 vehicles carrying enough ammo for 10,000 troops, is invincible. This is Moscow's bloody bargaining chip for the peace talks scheduled in Washington, a show of force meant to bully a deal out of Zelensky and Trump. On paper, this convoy is a fortress on wheels. It's bristling with mobile Pantsir S-1 air defense systems, creating a 12-mile-wide bubble of protection. High above their Nebo M radar sweeps the sky a multi-million-dollar system that can track a baseball from 200 miles away. They believe they are untouchable. They are fatally wrong, because while their expensive radars are scanning the heavens, they're completely blind to what's happening right under their noses. Clamped silently to the cold steel girders of the bridge, a swarm of drones is sleeping. Disguised as rusted maintenance equipment, they are Khajak REBOff FPV drones. They cost $600 a pop, and for the last 72 hours they have been waiting. The Russians made one catastrophic assumption that any drone attack would come from the sky, guided by a radio signal they could jam. But these drones operate on a terrifying level of autonomy, waiting for a single heavily encrypted data packet, a digital wake-up call to be sent. Once that signal arrives, their onboard AI takes over. They don't need GPS. They don't need a pilot. They navigate using the bridge's own structure as a map, becoming smart guided torpedoes. The stakes are brutally simple. If this convoy crosses 10,000 Russian troops get resupplied, and Moscow gains the upper hand in negotiations. If it doesn't, Russia's southern front runs out of ammo in 72 hours, and their diplomatic leverage evaporates. Now the final piece of the trap snaps into place. Just as Ukrainian AI predicted, the convoy begins to slow down mid-span. The cause isn't tactical, it's pathetic. Russia's notoriously cheap tires, unable to handle the long journey, are starting to fail, causing a bottleneck right in the kill zone. Miles away in a hidden command post, a Ukrainian operator sees the convoy slow to a crawl. The target is perfectly positioned. He takes a deep breath and presses a single key. A single millisecond-long data packet shoots through the air. Under the bridge, 12 sets of dull green indicator lights blink on. The trap was set, the bait was taken, and the ghosts were about to wake up. At 03:46:05 a.m., 12 electromagnetic clamps disengage simultaneously. The Khajak drones experience a 1-second freefall before their brushless motors spin to life, stabilizing the platforms just 3 feet above the river's surface. The high-frequency whine of their propellers is completely masked by the low-frequency rumble of the 80,000-ton convoy directly overhead. On the bridge, the lead battalion's radio operator makes his scheduled report. Checkpoint Charlie reached. Convoy is 50% across the objective. All systems nominal, no threats detected. Below him, the 12 drones have already formed into 3 distinct pre-programmed attack cells. They hug the water using the bridge's massive concrete pylons as cover from any potential visual or radar scan from the riverbanks. Their flight path isn't a simple straight line. The onboard AI uses LiDAR to actively map the bridge's understructure in real time, making hundreds of micro-adjustments per second to navigate the maze of steel girders and concrete supports. The targeting protocols are locked in. Cell 1, consisting of 6 drones, has the primary targets, the ammunition trucks, clustered at the convoy's vulnerable center. Cell 2, with 4 drones, is assigned to the unarmored fuel tankers. Cell 3, the final 2 drones, will execute a decapitation strike on the command and control vehicles. The operation is in its most critical and fragile phase. The technology is performing flawlessly, and the plan is unfolding exactly as designed. The entire mission now hinges on a single unpredictable variable, the human element. All it would take is one Russian soldier bored out of his mind on a 4-hour watch to glance over the side of the bridge at the exact wrong second. At 03:47:15 a.m., the drones are now just 900 yards from their designated ascent points. The plan is flawless, the execution perfect. They remain completely invisible to the massive Nebo M radar sweeping the sky miles above them. But down on the bridge inside a cramped Pantsir S-1 command truck, a junior lieutenant notices something wrong. It isn't a solid contact on his screen, it's electronic noise, a flicker. The kind of digital static you ignore 99 times out of 100. Trusting his gut over his captain's boredom, he makes a decision that will change everything. He overrides the passive sensors and switches his targeting radar to active pulse mode, flooding the area below the bridge with a focused beam of energy. For a split second, his screen lights up like a Christmas tree. He has a perfect target lock. He doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't wait for confirmation. He squeezes the trigger. A 57 E6 missile, a $150,000 piece of sophisticated hardware, screams off its rails. 30 feet below the bridge, it slams into a $50 Ukrainian decoy that had been silently activated moments before vaporizing it in a spectacular and completely useless explosion. The explosion, however useless, does one critical thing. It sounds the alarm. Suddenly, the entire convoy's radio network crackled to life with a panicked shout, "Contact! Contact! Explosion under the bridge!" Red lights flash on consoles. Truck drivers slam on their brakes, turning the orderly convoy into a chaotic traffic jam right in the middle of the kill zone. The bored soldiers are now wide awake and terrified. The element of surprise is gone. The ghosts are no longer ghosts. The Ukrainians drew first blood, but in doing so, they have just woken up a very angry, very confused bear. Now, how do you attack a target that knows you're coming? At 03:47:50 a.m., on the Pantsir's screen, the lieutenant is a hero for about 3 seconds. Then the single clean contact he had moments ago vanishes. His screen is now a chaotic mess of ghost signals, reflections from the bridge's rebar and the turbulent water below. He's trying to get a second lock, but he's aiming at a phantom. This isn't a human pilot panicking at the controls. This is an AI executing its counter protocol with digital precision. The 11 remaining drones instantly change their flight profile. They execute a classic beam maneuver, turning to fly at a perfect 90-degree angle to the Pantsir's radar dish. To understand why this is so devastatingly effective, you have to think like a police radar gun. That gun only measures speed based on how fast you're coming towards it or moving away from it. If you could somehow drive perfectly sideways past that cop, your speed relative to his gun would be almost zero. To the Pantsir's computer, which is designed to filter out stationary objects, the drones simply disappear. They become part of the bridge's structural clutter. But the Ukrainians don't just want to hide, they want to blind. The drone closest to the Pantsir activates its own onboard jammer, pumping out a high-energy burst of X-band noise. The effect is instantaneous. The Russian lieutenant's screen goes from cluttered to pure screaming white static. It's the electronic equivalent of having a flashbang go off inside your eyeballs. And here is where the Ukrainian AI turns a near disaster into a stroke of genius. The system had already calculated a 97% probability that the missile strike would cause a total convoy standstill, thanks to intelligence data on the poor quality of Russian truck tires. While the Russians are blind, confused, and stuck in a self-inflicted traffic jam, the drones don't press the attack. Instead, they use the precious seconds of chaos to slip back under the bridge girders, re-establishing their stealth positions, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They've survived the first counterpunch. They've proven they're smarter than their opponent, but they've also just revealed their hand. They've shown the Russians they aren't fighting cheap toys. They're fighting a technologically superior phantom. And a cornered, humiliated Russian officer is about to do something very, very desperate. At 03:48:30 a.m., 70 miles away, orbiting at 30,000 feet, an entirely different kind of beast receives the alert. This is the Berev A-50 Russia's eye in the sky. If the Pantsir is a security guard patrolling the ground with a flashlight, the A-50 is the security director in a control room who just turned on the stadium floodlights. Its powerful Schmel M radar doesn't care about ground clutter. It doesn't care about beam maneuvers. It simply looks down, and it sees everything. To its sensors, the drone's tiny heat signatures and composite bodies stand out against the cold concrete of the bridge like flares in a dark room. The game has changed. Inside the Pantsir, the lieutenant's screen, which was pure white static a moment ago, suddenly clears. A new symbol appears, a clean, perfect top-down targeting track fed directly from the A-50's data link. The Phantom is back in his crosshairs. But it gets worse. The same data stream is simultaneously piped to an S-400 long-range missile battery 50 miles away. Their computers don't hesitate. They have a verified target track from the A-50. The ultimate threat now materializes. A launch warning flashes on the Ukrainian operator's screen. A missile designed to kill supersonic fighter jets is now hunting his $600 drones. The drone's AI is now facing a problem it was never designed to solve. Its stealth is gone. Its jamming is useless against the A-50's radar frequency. A hypersonic missile is seconds away from impact. The mission and the multi-million-dollar intelligence operation behind it now depends on a split-second decision from an AI that has just been checkmated. At 03:49:02 a.m., the S-400 launch warning is a death clock counting down from 5 seconds. The missile is closing at Mach 12. On the screen of the A-50, Russian operators are already celebrating a confirmed kill. The drone's AI does not try to outrun the missile. That's a fool's errand. You can't outrun physics. Instead, it executes Protocol Omega-7, a preloaded contingency plan for this exact worst-case scenario. A small hatch on the drone's underbelly snaps open. From it, a thin, 100-foot-long fiber-optic towline unspools in less than a second. At the end of that line is a device the size of a beer can, the ALE-50 towed decoy. This isn't a simple flare. The ALE-50 is a brilliant liar. It doesn't just create heat, it actively samples the S-400's incoming radar energy and broadcasts back a perfect amplified echo. It creates a radar signature 100 times larger and more attractive than the drone itself. To the incoming S-400 missile, it's like being told to tackle the smallest player on a football field and suddenly seeing the team's 300-pound linebacker standing right next to him screaming, "I'm open!" The S-400 seeker instantly switches targets. It violently adjusts its course, chasing the juicier electronic bait. 3 seconds later, a $3 million missile detonates harmlessly over the Dnipro River, obliterating a decoy that cost less than a used car. On the A-50's radar screen, the operators watch in disbelief. Their ultimate weapon was just defeated by a fishing line with a radio attached. But the Ukrainians didn't just survive, they turned the attack against their enemy. The S-400's massive high-altitude explosion wasn't just a failure, it was a signal. A perfectly timed sky-high beacon that told every other Russian air defense unit in a 50-mile radius to look up. And while every Russian eye was turned to the sky watching the fading fireball, at 03:49:15 a.m., the order that flashes across the Ukrainian operator's screen isn't a word. It's a single data packet: execute. The 11 drones stop hiding. They rocket upwards from beneath the bridge, their electric motors screaming at maximum RPM. This isn't a stealth approach anymore, it's a drag race. The drones don't aim for the trucks. They aim for the concrete directly beneath them. Their internal navigation systems, immune to jamming, lock onto coordinates with a 3-foot margin of error. The first drone slams into the bridge's main support beam precisely under the lead ammunition truck. Its shaped-charged warhead punches through 2 feet of reinforced concrete in a nanosecond. One after another, the remaining 10 drones follow, striking their pre-assigned targets along the bridge's spine with cold mathematical precision. The entire coordinated impact takes less than 1.3 seconds. And here the true diabolical genius of the Ukrainian plan reveals itself. The drone's warhead fuses are delayed by precisely 1.1 seconds. Why? Because the drones were never meant to be the main weapon. They were just the trigger. The goal wasn't to blow a hole in the bridge. It was to create an inescapable pressure chamber under it. The space between the river and the bridge deck becomes a containment chamber, turning the explosion from an open-air blast into something far more violent. The pressure wave from the shaped charges with nowhere to go reflects off the water, and the concrete amplifying itself into a 5,000 psi shockwave of pure force. This amplified shockwave doesn't just push the bridge, it shatters it. The massive concrete support columns designed to handle vertical weight are hit with an unimaginable horizontal force. They don't bend, they disintegrate the rebar inside, snapping like dried twigs. But the collapsing bridge is only the opening act. The now unsupported roadbed cracks and falls away, tipping the first ammunition truck into the heart of the blast. Its cargo equivalent to 100 pounds of TNT ignites a chain reaction that tears through the convoy's ammo trucks. Within seconds, the 1.1 million pounds of Russian ammunition becomes Ukraine's weapon. In the immediate aftermath, the scene on the river is one of total annihilation. The convoy's heart is gone, replaced by a half-mile chasm of fire and twisted metal where the bridge once stood, leaving the rest stranded. On the strategic map, the effect is even more devastating. The Russian command structure for the entire southern front is instantly decapitated. 10,000 troops are now stranded, their supply lines severed with less than 72 hours of ammunition and fuel remaining. Russia's massive bargaining chip for the Washington peace talks has been wiped off the board in less than 5 minutes. And so, with less than $10,000 worth of autonomous drones, Ukraine didn't just destroy a convoy, they vaporized Russia's entire southern strategy. It proved that in 21st century warfare, victory doesn't belong to the side with the most steel. It belongs to the side that can turn their enemy's greatest strength, their massive, predictable size, into their most catastrophic weakness. So, what do you think? What kind of clever, low-cost trap would you set to outsmart a lumbering giant? Let us know in the comments below.